Hello, everyone. We would begin in just a minute. We're waiting for the rest of our friends who are joining us for this fun activity today to join the meeting, and then we'll get started. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, friends. Hello, my good friends. I'm happy to see you guys today. So hello and welcome. My name is Kafaya. I'm a community learning specialist here at DoSpace. Thank you for joining us as we officially launch the DoSpace Summer 21 with a virtual kickoff with a lot of activities. So just as you can see from the schedule here today, we have Mr. C. I don't know if you are familiar with him. He is the creator of the YouTube channel Learning Science is Fun, and he would be jumpstarting this event for us today with shockingly fun STEM activities. And after that, we would follow up by a fun coding activity where we teach our computer how to feel. And then we go on to participate in another exciting coding activity brought to us by Mystery Code Society. And to wrap up our fun summer kickoff with the passport event, we would be making our summer passports, which I think a few of you have. And if you don't have your passport yet, you can still drop by DoSpace to pick up one for you and members of your family. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started. We are going to get started with Mr. C.
It's so much fun. Learning fun for everyone. Everyone. It's science time. Yes, yeah, let's believe. Explore and learn new things. Who wants Mr. C? It's science time. Every day. We know it's awesome.
Oh, it works! I have a new flashlight or lightsaber. Oh, hey everybody. It's Mr. C, and I want to welcome you to the DoSpace 2021 Summer Passport Program. I am so excited to be part of this adventure, and I'm so glad that you're here to join me and all of the amazing people who have put it together for you. Yeah, check this out. I made like this flashlight, this LED flashlight. We're gonna get into that in just a second. But before I do that, I wanna talk about really why we're here. And it's about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. It's all the cool things in the world bundled together in this package called STEM. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to have a whole bunch of fun getting ready for the amazing summer that they have planned for you. So, before I get started on this activity and a whole bunch of other things we're going to be building together, I want to share just a few video clips of myself and who I am and what I do. See, not only do I do really cool DIY science activities, but I also go on and I do theater shows and I get in front of thousands of kids and I blow stuff up and I have a lot of fun. And here, check this out. this will explain everything. See you in a second.
All right, here we go. Inside of this container, I have liquid nitrogen that's been cooled and condensed. And it does this. That liquid nitrogen, you know what? That's awesome. I can still see some of the little liquid bubbles moving around on the stage, but it's turning into a gas because it's going from a liquid to a gas. It's going through a phase change right now. Oh, I got an idea. Let's pour a whole bunch in here. Whee! All right. So I have a question. Minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit. What if we add some boiling water to that? Should we give it a try? Boiling water is 300, excuse me, I got the numbers mixed up. Boiling water, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Liquid nitrogen, minus 321 degrees Fahrenheit. Do the math, the difference, over 500 degrees. I need a countdown in 3, 2, 1.
How awesome was that? Wasn't that so cool to see that big plume of liquid nitrogen go straight up in the sky? Well, up into the theater ceilings. It's always so much fun when you get to do something like that in front of a whole bunch of kids and parents because they are like, whoa, that's so amazing. And really everything about STEM is actually really amazing. Just like that big liquid nitrogen plume that I had there. This here is pretty amazing also because the theme for the summer is electricity. And it's electric. And this here is all about electricity and pretty much a simple circuit. So we're going to actually build one of these right now. And to do so, you need a couple of very, very simple materials. One, you need a sheet of aluminum foil. You want a marker of some sort so that you can actually identify a couple of pieces. You'll need 2 craft sticks. These are like the middle-sized craft sticks, but you can get smaller ones or you can get the really big jumbo ones. I have this button battery or coin battery. This is a 3-volt battery. I've got a couple of different LEDs. I've got a green, clear, and red, plus I have my blue that I've already used. But I have one of these 3 that I'm going to use for this specific little flashlight, and some tape. So let's get started. First thing you need to do is pretty much cut a couple strips of aluminum foil. Now, what I did is I folded a sheet of aluminum foil in half. And I did this because I want it to be a little thicker. It's easier to work with the aluminum foil when it's a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna cut it this way so that I have the fold in there after my cut. Now, here we go. And if it's too thick, we'll just fold it to thin it out. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold it in half, I'm going to make it even thicker. I'm going to thin it a little bit, but I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. So there's a strip there. We need 2 long strips. And then we need 2 thinner strips. Oops. Oops. So what I'm gonna do, 2 shorter strips. I said thinner, but I meant shorter. All right, so these will be our pieces here. I'm gonna get a little piece of tape pulled off already so I can grab it. If you have another set of hands to help you out at your house, it'll be helpful, but you don't have to. It just takes a little bit of time. So the first thing first is we need to get our battery out. We need to test the battery, make sure it's working. There real test is getting it out of the package. There we go. And I want to make sure that my LED is working. So I'm going to take my LED and I'm just going to slide it over the button battery so it lights up. So I know that it's working. All right, I'm going to turn it the other way. I want to test something. And when I turn it the other way, it doesn't work. And that's because an LED, a light emitting diode, has to be hooked up to the battery a specific way in order for electricity to flow through it and give off light. So the long side, when I connect the long side to what is the positive side, it lights up. That means the short side has to be connected to the negative side in order to work, because when it's flipped and reversed, it doesn't. So I'm gonna make a little note of that. And the negative side is on my battery, and I think most button batteries and coin batteries are like this. The negative side has a little bit of texture. It has all these little dots on it. So I'm going to now take my marker, and I'm just gonna put negative on one side of my craft stick and positive on the other side. All right. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. I just realized it. You need one of these clips too. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, so now we know that the positive side is the longer side of our LED, and the negative side goes to the negative side, needs to be the shorter side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of aluminum foil and put it just like that, hold it there. I'm gonna take another piece, flip it over. I'm gonna just hold it in place. And I'm gonna take a small piece of tape just so it doesn't flop around, and I'm gonna apply the tape about midway down. All right, just like this. Just so it holds it in place. Now, we said the longer side goes on the positive side, so I'm gonna slide this over. Oops. Come on, little LED light. There we go. So we've got the shorter side on the negative, the longer side on the positive. And now this is where, and if you have another set of hands, it's really helpful. You're gonna take one of the long strips, put it here, and I'm gonna hold it down. Oops, see, that's why. So shorter side is the negative, the longer side is the positive. Take one of the long strips, I'm gonna hold it down on top of there. I'm gonna squeeze it, I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna put the other long strip on the opposite side. So we have nice, good contact points everywhere. I'm gonna try to run that down the popsicle stick straight. And now I'm going to take another piece of tape, and I'm just going to tape it all into place. Hopefully it'll stay there. All right, I'll take one more little piece of tape, and I'm gonna tape it right up here. So everything stays where I'm hoping it stays. All right, so now we have our aluminum foil. It's too long, obviously. I almost forgot to say that we're going to use one of these binder clips, all right? And the binder clip, you're gonna put it on the end of the craft stick, just like that. So these are way too long right now, all right? But I'm gonna do a quick test. I'm gonna bring this to here. I'm just gonna fold this over before I cut anything. And then I'm just going to flop this over to make sure it's working. And it works. So I know I have everything hooked up correctly. And now I'm gonna tape it all down. All right, so I can shorten this slightly. I'm gonna cut this right before the bend. And now I'm going to take my battery. I'm gonna put the negative facing down towards the negative sign. Whoops. Negative down towards the negative symbol. I'm gonna tape that. And I'm only gonna tape Whoops. I'm only going to tape it partially down so that this is open, so that when I flip this, it'll connect, just like that. All right, so I'm going to lift that back up. Now on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that tape from the battery side. I'm just going to flip it over, tape everything down. I'm going to bring this here. Take a small piece of tape, and just tape this foil down just so that it is not flopping around everywhere. And now when I flip my metal clip, it works. How awesome is that? And what I have is a simple circuit. I have energy flowing from the negative to the positive of the battery, and I actually have a switch built into this as well. Look at this. How cool is that? And it only took me a couple of minutes to build. Now, whoa, what I love about this is this light, it actually symbolizes kind of like your flashlight to the future. It's like, we're gonna learn all sorts of really cool stuff, and this light is going to shine and guide us forward as we do all these STEM activities today. So, with that said, we could actually build a whole bunch of these and have a lot of fun with it. But it brings me to the question, there are different parts of the circuit here. Some are insulators and some are conductors. And I thought it'd be really cool if we just took a moment to actually build another circuit and talk about why some things are insulators and why some things are conductors, and actually dig in a little deeper to see what's really going on in this circuit. So let me clean this up really quick, and let's build ourselves a simple circuit. Go ahead and stare at the circle until I tell you to stop. When I say stop, you can look at my face or even at your teacher's face. If you don't like the way the spinning makes you feel, just look away for a moment. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, stop. So this, like I was saying before, it's a simple circuit. That means the way to get this LED to light up is relatively simple. And actually, I want to show you what's going on here. Instead of showing it on a craft stick with aluminum foil, I have a circuit. I've got our power source. Here I've got 2 batteries. Together they make 3 volts. And here I have these yellow alligator clips. And when I connect the alligator clip, I have a closed circuit, and electricity is able to flow, electrons are able to flow through the circuit, through the LED, which they emit light, and then it's able to close the circuit and it comes back. When I break the circuit, or there's not a conductor that is allowing the electrons to flow, we don't have current flowing, the LED doesn't light up. And that's when we know we have an open circuit. Just like our switch here, when I close it, the light lights up. When I open it, the light turns off. And let's actually talk about this clippy thing first, this binder clip. Earlier, I forgot to tell you, you needed this, but this is actually one of the big secrets to your little LED flashlight. Why? Well, this binder clip is made of metal, and we're gonna test to see if this is actually a conductor or an insulator. So conductors allow electricity to flow really easily, insulators do not. And if I connect this to the side, it closes the circuit, electricity is able to flow through it, lighting up our light bulb or LED, and then we know that this is a conductor. So when you're building your flashlight, you want to use a metal binder clip and not a plastic one, or actually give it a try. Well, let's see. Let's see if plastic works. I've got a plastic spoon. I'm gonna hook it up, and my light bulb doesn't light up. Is that what you predicted? Probably. Plastic is an insulator. It doesn't allow electricity to flow through it very easily. So it's very preventative and resistant to the flow of electrons, which means the light bulb is not going to light up. So we've got our conductor stack, our insulator stack. Let's do a couple more. I'll put that back here so it's out of the way. An iron nail. See what it does. All right, it lights up our LED. So we know that this here is a conductor, which also happens to be another metal. Interesting. Here I have bare copper wire. Bare, B-A-R-E, not like bear, like a grizzly bear copper wire, just regular bare wire. All right, let's hook that up. And it lights up our LED. So that copper is a metal. It's also a very good conductor of electricity. Ooh, what about these scissors? Let's just put this on the side. Hey, my scissors are conductors. Well, the cutting part is, let's try the rubber handle. Well, that's rubber on the inside. Nothing. Plastic on the outside. Nothing. So this is kind of like a dual. It's like both. It has conductors and insulators. I'll set this right here in the middle. Aluminum foil. You guys know what this is going to do because we use it for our LED flashlight. Hook that up. Lights up. Aluminum. It's a conductor of electricity. Put that over here in our stack of conductors. I have a zinc plate. Look at that. Conductor. Choo choo. Lots of conductors here today. What about wood? What do you think? This craft stick is made out of wood, insulator, or conductor? No go. Wah, wah, wah. All right, and I think, do we have any others? Oh, I have this electrical tape. I'm gonna put this down. And I'm actually going to touch that. Electrical tape is not electrically charged. It sounds confusing, electrical tape. But actually what we use electrical tape for is to insulate things like metal. We use it to insulate. So I can cover that up like that. And then what I can do is I can touch the metal parts and it works. And if I touch these parts, it doesn't work. And that's to create a barrier between things that are conductors and things that, between different types of conductors. So you can put an insulator in between and it prevents those things from touching and transferring electrons through those two types of metals. So I wanted to show you this because we created our flashlight with a simple circuit using insulators and conductors and creating that flow of electrons through that circuit. But when electrons aren't able to move on things very easily, instead of having electricity flowing, we have electricity that becomes stuck on things. And we call that static electricity. So we're actually going to explore a couple of static electrical experiments, static electricity. We're going to do some static electricity experiments and have some fun with those. So, are you ready? All right, let me get all this stuff cleaned up now that we've talked about conductors and insulators. And now let's actually focus on some static electricity. So we've had some fun building a circuit with our flashlight and also talking about insulators and conductors with our simple circuit. And we've learned that conductors are things that allow electrons to flow easily, while insulators don't allow electrons to flow so easily. And that is where we're going to start. We're going to start with this balloon. Oh, we should have tested this to see if a rubber balloon is an insulator or conductor. But, oh, remember on the scissor handles? I said there was rubber on the inside. Was it a conductor? No, it was an insulator, just like this balloon. So I'm going to blow this up. Tie it off. And now I'm going to take this balloon and I'm going to bring it across this confetti paper and let's see what happens. Nothing. Nothing happened. And the question is, why? Or can we make something happen? So I'm going to take this balloon and I'm going to rub it against this towel I have. Now I'm going to bring it across. And I can actually move and almost pick up that confetti. Oh yeah, look at that. It's really responding, and I actually got a piece to come up off of the pan. So what's going on here? It's not just regular electricity, it is static electricity, or essentially, static electricity, or essentially electricity that isn't moving. So unlike a conductor where the electrons are moving through the object, insulators hold electrons. And when I'm rubbing this balloon against this towel, I'm transferring electrons from the towel onto the balloon, giving the balloon a negative charge. And then when I bring that balloon over these pieces of paper, which are neutral, the positive charge inside of this material is attracted to the abundant negative charges. And we know that opposites attract. All right, so opposites attract and likes repel. It's kind of like magnets. So if you ever worked with a magnet, it's the same idea. Opposites attract, likes repel. Now we can take this same idea with this balloon, but instead of rubbing it, it's attracted to my hand right now because it is still negatively charged and it's attracted to me. So we're gonna take a plastic bag. So for this activity, all you need is a plastic bag. It can be a grocery bag, or I have these little bags. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it, and is this the top part? Yep. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna cut off a ring, or cut off a strip of it. And basically, I'm gonna create a ring that looks like this. All right? So, what we're gonna do now is I'm going to charge up the balloon again, and then I'm going to try to make this ring levitate above our above the blue balloon. Here we go. Charge it up. Put a good charge on there. And now I'm gonna put this right over it and let go. Oh, wait a minute. It got stuck. But I read online it was supposed to float. But if it's getting stuck, it's behaving like this paper over here was. So that means this has an opposite charge from the balloon, which means they're attracted. So what I actually need to do is I need to rub this onto my towel, and I need to rub this on the towel as well, so that I transfer electrons to both of these, giving them the same charge. And in theory, if they have the same charge, they should hopefully, oh, it's sticking to me, all right, repel. Here we go. Let's try it again. Let's open this up. I'll rub these at the same time to try to get charged at the same time. This is how we're gonna charge up your learning this summer. Have all sorts of cool experiments. Here we go. How awesome is that? Hello. That was so cool. It actually levitated, and that's because they both have the same charge. They both gained electrons from this towel. All right, so this plastic gained electron from the towel, the balloon gained electrons from the towel, giving them the same negative charge. And then when we put them together, they actually float and levitate. They push apart from one another. That was so cool. Let's try that again. Here we go. Oh my goodness. That is so cool. So I'm gonna challenge you to build one of these with a balloon and a piece of plastic from a bag from the grocery. Would it work with a bigger bag? Would it work with a smaller bag? Would it work with a bigger balloon? Give it a try. These are things that you can do to charge up your learning all summer long. And yeah, and speaking of which, I have some other static electricity experiments that I want to try with you as well. So let me clean up this mess so that we can start another mess and have some fun with that. So for this next activity, we're going to get things a little bubbly and have a little bit of fun using bubbles and static electricity. This is a perfect experiment you can do during the summer. You can do it inside at a table, or if you have an outside table, it is perfect to get out and get messy. So the first thing we need are a couple of materials so that you can make your bubble solution and create your bubbles. You need some soap, you need some water, you'll need a straw, or straws, something to mix your solution up with. You'll also need, I'm using a PVC pipe for this, but you could use a balloon. And then I have some fur, and I also have my towel, just to test some different things. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna take and create our bubble solution. Now, the recipe I like to use is really simple. It's a 2-to-1 recipe. So 2 parts water to 1 part soap. So I have 1 cup of water, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to mix in a 1/2 cup of soap. Bubbles! All right, we're gonna pour that in. I'm gonna use this to stir it a little bit to get some of that soap out from a measuring cup. You want to stir that and get it really consistent and get it mixed up. And what I actually like to do is I like to let my soap sit as long as I can. Sometimes I'll let it sit overnight. And if you have glycerin, you can take a little bit of liquid glycerin and put it in. It helps thicken the solution so that it makes the bubbles stronger and they last longer. But you don't have to. But I would recommend making sure it's mixed up really well before you use it. Now, that is really sudsy. And you can see over here that I have a batch of solution that I've actually made and I keep. It's a gallon's worth, and I use this for different experiments. We're gonna try this one first. If it doesn't work really well, I'll use this to see how it works, but let's give this one a try. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to blow bubbles. We're gonna put bubbles onto the table. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit of solution onto the table. It's gonna get messy, but it's a clean messy because we're using soap. Yeah. And I'm just gonna wipe it all over the table. And what I'm doing here is creating a mess. And I'm going to blow a bubble right here on this. Perfect. Ugh, my hands are so dirty. All right. Got to dry my hands off a little bit, otherwise I won't be able to charge up my PVC pipe. Now, I've got some fur, and when I rub the fur against the PVC pipe, it is going to give off electrons to the PVC pipe, and my bubble just popped. Let's try that again. So we've got our bubble. Now this is charged. Oh. See if it's still charged. It has a slight charge still. It's pulling it. It's like a slow motion chase. Let's charge that up a little bit better. All right, you know what? I think it's because my bubble solution isn't ready yet. We need stronger bubbles. So I'm gonna use the bubble solution that I had. Just pour a little bit out there. I'll still use this for the base. Let's get a new straw here. See this works any better. So we're giving electrons to the PVC pipe. We're giving a negative charge. Oh. Let's see if it works now. There we go, there we go. Oh, it's working. Let's put a little bit more soap on the table. There we go. So it glides really easily. What I love about this activity is you can have some fun with your family. Let's see if we can bring it this way. It's moving like a snail. That is so cool. It's a hemisphere. It's a dome. Oh, that's so cool. All right, so you can see here, you can have some soapy fun with this idea of static electricity. You know, clinging onto these science concepts is really cool, right? Get it? Clinging. All of these electrons are clinging to this PVC pipe. It's causing the bubble that is neutrally charged to be attracted to this PVC pipe, and it's actually causing the entire bubble to slide and glide across the table. I wonder if it has to do with the size of the bubble, if a bigger bubble works better, if a smaller bubble works better. You know, that didn't even blow a bubble. You know, this is something you can try. You can try these things at home this summer. What is happening? No bubbles. That's a ginormous bubble. I'm gonna try the towel. Oh, I should try it with the balloon. Let's try it with the balloon really quick too. I don't know if this is gonna do anything. I think the bigger bubble's working better. Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool. All right, so charge up your afternoon on a hot summer day, make a mess in your kitchen, blow some bubbles, and charge it up and give it a whirl. Have some bubble races. See if you can create a bubble that races faster than your friend or family member's bubble. So much fun. Try it with a balloon, try it with PVC pipe, try it with different objects to see which object causes the bubble to react the best and the fastest. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, right? Oh, I'm just bubbling over with all sorts of cool ideas right now. It's my favorite. It's so good. In fact, the reason I need to eat this really fast is I'm gonna use this jar to build an electroscope. But I've got a whole bunch to eat, so I want you to watch this video really fast. I'll be right back.
Applesauce, chicken nuggets, applesauce, chicken nuggets, applesauce, chicken nuggets, applesauce. My lunch tray, man, it looks great, filled with all these tasty critters. Yes, I will eat them, no, can't share when I'm the biggest kid here. School lunch is oh so fun, yes, hanging with my friends every day. We order chicken nuggets, applesauce, cause we are crazy. Yes, it's lunchtime. I'm feeling so fly. No, I cannot hide the way I feel inside. Chicken nuggets, applesauce. Chicken nuggets, applesauce. Chicken nuggets, applesauce. I can never get enough. Chicken nuggets, applesauce. Chicken nuggets, applesauce. Chicken nuggets, applesauce. I can never get enough. I can never get enough. Get enough. Get enough. No. I can never get enough.
Whew, that was a lot of Nutella, but it was delicious, and I did it for you guys. It's for science. Oh, I love that stuff. When I grew up in Germany, I used to eat that a whole bunch on bread and Brötchen and all sorts of good stuff. So having Nutella available here isn't just for science purposes, it's also just delicious. But we're gonna actually take this container and make an electroscope. An electroscope is a scientific tool that actually allows us to see electrical charges that are built up on other objects. So building an electroscope is actually pretty simple. You'll need a couple of things. This is a glass jar and it has a lid. So I'm gonna recommend a glass jar of some sort or a glass cup you can use also, and you can use a lid or a piece of paper to make a lid, a faux lid if needed. I have some electrical tape. I have some bare copper wire. Arr, grizzly bear copper wire. So we're gonna need some of that. And I have some aluminum foil. And then we're going to use a balloon to actually generate and hold the electrons to see if the electroscope works. Oh, and we also need something to charge up our balloon with, right? So let's build this really quick. It's actually relatively simple. Oh, I need a straw too. Ooh, I need a straw. I think I have a straw back here. Straw. So, don't forget the straw. We're gonna take this drill and we're going to carefully drill a hole right in the center. And ideally, the straw would fit through there, but it doesn't. But that's okay, because I'm just gonna use it to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Perfect. Straw fits through. And now, I need my scissors too. I'm gonna cut that off right about there. So I've got my straw through. I'm gonna take some of my electrical tape and I'm going to tape it so it just holds it in place, just so it doesn't slide down. Perfect. Now, you can see that when I unscrew it, it's about halfway through. All right. And now we're gonna take some of this copper wire and we are going to actually, excuse me, it's all that Nutella. We're gonna take that copper wire and I'm gonna use my PVC pipe I had earlier and I'm just gonna make just 2 little rings like this. And then I'm going to sort of make it bigger around. Oh, that did not work like I thought it was going to work. I don't want it to be the same size. I want the ring to be big, and then I want it to go smaller. There we go. Look at that. Looks crazy. All right, and then I'm going to take that, and I'm gonna put this down here. Hopefully it fits through. A little shorter than I want it to be, but I think it's gonna work. And what I've done here is I've created a little hook on the bottom. You can see right there. So I've got a hook on the bottom. And what we're going to do now, so I've got this, it looks like a spiral up here, and then I have this little hook. And we've talked about the insulators and conductors enough to know that this plastic is an insulator, the electrical tape is an insulator, and our copper wire is a conductor, which means the copper wire allows electrons to move through it easily. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our aluminum foil and I have it folded right here. So if I cut out 2 pieces of foil, in theory, because I cut right on that line, I will have 2 identical size, sort of like teardrops or raindrops. Look like butterfly wings, honestly. So now what we're gonna do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to poke these onto my hook here. If you have another set of hands, it's always good to have another set of hands if possible. I'm just going to poke it through. And now I have this sort of kind of hanging there like this. Perfect. Now, there's no specific measurement for your teardrops or size. I'm basing mine on the size of my jar because when I have it hanging down like this, I just want it to be able to sit in there without touching the bottom or touching the sides. And turn it just like that so we can get a good look at it. Now, what we're going to do is, we also know, well, let's just try something and let's see if it works, and we'll talk about it if it works. So I have a balloon that I'm going to blow up. We'll try it with the towel first. Did you see it? It's already moving. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my charged balloon that is negatively charged to my, it's like a satellite dish almost, to the ring of copper. Look, it's attracted to the towel. It's because opposite charges are attracted to one another. And then watch, let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. And when I bring it close, oh, that's so cool. So what's happening is the electrons are jumping from the balloon to the copper wire, which is a conductor. It allows electrons to move through it very easily. And then when those pieces of aluminum foil get charged, both negatively charged, they repel one another. And when I pull it apart, they come back together. When I bring the charged balloon to it, oh, that is so cool. You've got to build one of these. It's such a simple thing. And what you can do is you can actually test different things to see how your electroscope responds to the charged item. Oh, that's really cool. I wonder if it'll work with fur. Oh, it doesn't, it works, but it seems like the towel, no, it's working really well. So this is a really fun way that you can test this. Build your own electroscope and test the charge that an object is holding as you put it next to your electroscope. All right. What an amazing day, learning together, having fun. I know you guys have this amazing summer planned, and I wish I could be there in person with all of you to kickstart this event, but I know that the activities and the experiments and the kits that are going to be available to all of you through DoSpace is going to be amazing. The learning is going to be nonstop. I want you to challenge yourself this summer to do all sorts of really cool stuff, to explore science, technology, engineering, and math, to know that electricity is electrifying. Whether it's in motion or whether it's charged to something, electricity is such a fun topic that you can learn about at your house with friends and family. And most importantly, there's so much to learn. Just the few things that I had here today can kickstart your learning and can get you really clinging to some really cool experiments and activities. I'm not even sure where to start, actually where to end right now. My belly's full with Nutella, my brain is full with all this talk about static electricity and electrons and conductors and insulators and levitating rings. I mean, how much fun have we had today just getting started? And just imagine all the fun you're gonna have for the entire summer. Keep exploring, keep having fun, keep learning wherever you are. Invite your friends and family, and most importantly, know that, well, science is wherever you are. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Build one of these. Super cool.
It's science time. It's so much fun. Learning fun for everyone. Everyone. It's science time. Yes, yeah, best believe. Explore and learn new things. Hear what's missed to see. It's science time. Every day. We know it's awesome. We know it's great. It's science time. So here we go together, now enjoy the show. Hands are clapping, join the flow.
So those were really cool STEM activities that Mr. C just showed us. Shout out to him. I hope you all got some very cool ideas on experiments and activities to try out later. We do apologize for the glitches and the off-sync sound, we tried. And if you want to refer back to this video, if a few of the activities caught your eye and you would like to try it at a later time, because it was kind of hard to follow as he went along, this video would be up on our Facebook page as I speak. And you can refer back to that video that lets you pause and play, and you have enough time to go grab all the activities that you need, all the materials that you need for the activities, and you can work with him as you go along. So the video would be on our Facebook page right now and at the end of this event. So for our next activity, which would start in about 4 minutes, we would be teaching our computer how to feel. It sounds really cool. So see you in a second. Let's just take this time to gather our thoughts. And this is an activity that you can follow along with me. So if you want to work with me, all you need right now, I think, is your computer with an open browser. So just get that ready, and we'll be back in a second to continue with the next activity. Hello and welcome back. It is time to move on to our next activity, which is learning how to teach, well, teaching a computer how to feel with some machine learning. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started with that. And of course, for this activity, you're able to follow along with me. And if you have any questions, comments, or if I'm moving too fast, just reel me in and just let me know. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So for this activity, we are going to start by going onto this website. This is the hub for the activity that we have planned, this is where we're going to teach our computer how to feel. I feel like I've said that like 5 times already, but I'm going to share a link in the chat right now for anyone who wants to work along with me. Right there, that's the link that we're going to start with. And as you can see from my screen, I just pasted the same link right here. It's machinelearningforkids.co.uk for anyone that's watching from Facebook. That's the link right here, machinelearningforkids.co.uk. I'll give you like a few seconds to get onto your browser. Any browser is fine. I just like Chrome because I just like it. And yeah, so of course, can I share the binge stack link? Yes, for the passport. Someone's asking for the bin stack link, and Miss Ruth is going to share that with you any second now. Okay, so for this, we're going to machinelearningforkids.co.uk, and this is what you would get. It'll bring you to a page like this. Okay. Next, the screen might look a bit different for you because would be the first time you're opening it. So what you can do is click on Get Started, but I'm going to click on Go to My Projects just because that's the screen that it gave me. So if you had anything like I did, just click on Go to Projects, and if it gives you something that says Get Started, just click on Get Started and it's going to bring you here. So it might ask you to log in or anything like that. You don't really have to if you don't want to, especially if you don't have a Google account. However, you can also work on this project without creating an account. So there's the option to try this out first. I think that's the third option you would see on your screen. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to add a new project because as you can see, I currently don't have any projects showing on my screen right now. So right here, I'm just going to click on Add a New Project. And now I'm going to give my project a name. And the name of my project is Make Me Happy. Ignore everything else that you see on the screen. Just Make Me Happy. Uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't matter. Just type out Make Me Happy. And what we're going to be teaching our computer to recognize today is text. So the next thing to do after giving your project a name, which is Make Me Happy, is to decide what this project is going to be learning about, right? So our project is going to be recognizing text. So I'm just going to either use the drop-down menu or type it in, but our machine is learning to recognize text today. I'm taking time just in case anyone is working with me. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions. I'm here. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so now we've given our project a name. We've also identified that it's going to be recognizing text and the language is English. So next I'm going to go on to click on Create, as you can see right here, and it brings me here. So remember how earlier when it showed my list of projects, there was nothing here. And now that we created a new project, it's showing right here. And if you were to add another project, it would go right above or below this project. But this is where it should bring you to after you give it a name and what it would be recognizing. Okay, so now I'm going to select my project because this is the project I'm going to be working on. And there's three options here. You can either train, learn, and test, or make. But today we are starting by making our project. So before we go on to collecting examples of what we want our computer to recognize in the training section, or where we learn to test, we learn and test, like using examples that we trained the computer with. But because we're starting from scratch, we are going to use Scratch. So we're going to be using the machine learning model to make a game or an app that would help us teach our computer to recognize text that either make it happy or make it sad. So I'm going to click on make. And when I do that, it brings me to another page. It's a lot of steps, but we're getting to the fun part soon, I promise. Okay, so now there's four options. There's Scratch, there's Scratch 3, there's Python, and there's App Inventor. For today, we're going to be using Scratch 3. It's a newer version of Scratch. I believe the just Scratch version works with Flash Player or something, and that's not supported anymore. So I'm just going to go on and click on Scratch 3, and it should bring me here. There's plenty steps, but we're getting there. Okay, so our project isn't ready to be used in Scratch yet. You can use Scratch by itself if we want, or go to the Learn and Test page for some tips on what to do next. We're going to be using Scratch by itself for now. Okay, so I just clicked on Scratch by itself, and it brings me to the Scratch website. For any one of you that's worked with Scratch before, this would look familiar to you. Asked, are we using text or images? We're using text for this activity. So text is what the answer is. For say, I hope that answers your question. Jessica, I see you're raising your hand, but I'm unable to hear you because I'm only speaking. So please type in your answer or just put it in the Q&A or put it in the chat. I'm paying close attention to that so I can answer any questions that you have. Okay. So now that we have Scratch open, I'm going to say goodbye to the Scratch cat. I really like cats. I think I do. But we don't need the cat for this activity. So I'm just going to say bye to the cat, and we'll see the cat later. And once you delete the cat, there should be absolutely nothing on your workspace, and the display corner right here, your stage and your workspace should be totally empty. And because we're exercising our full creativity today, we are going to be creating our own sprites. And we're making smiley faces, just a heads up. Jessica's asking, do you pick make? Yes, I picked make. That was 2 steps ago, I think. Yes, I picked the third option, which was make, the third box right there. And after you click on make, you click on Scratch 3, and then you click on Scratch by itself, and it brings you right here, and you delete the cat, and you would be here with us. Okay, let me know if you have any other questions, Jessica. Okay, so now we're going on to I think this is the most exciting part of the game or the activity today. We're going to be making smiley faces. Okay, so to do that, you're going to hover over the button right here that says to choose a sprite. And we're going to go up to the paint option. We're not choosing a sprite, we're making one. So we're just gonna go ahead and hover over. It'll give you more options, and then we're going to paint. So right here, I'm selecting the paint option, and it brings me here to the costumes page. And in the costumes tab, I'm going to be making my first face. To start, because my face is, I think, round, I'm going to use the circle tool right here in the corner. And you select the circle right here. And when you get to your workspace here, you just click and drag, and it gives you the face. And when you get to a convenient size or shape or roundness of your face, you can just stop. But another thing is, right now it gives me a purple face, but I don't want my face to be purple. I want yellow. Let's stick to yellow. For that, I'm going to use my color selection tool. So if you click on fill and just drag, move around until you get to a color that you're comfortable with. I want yellow, but not too bright. Okay, let's see what we can fix. Okay. When you get there, how do you log it? Oh, I think Luke has a question about Beanstack. Miss Ruth is going to answer that question for you, Luke. And when you click Scratch by itself, it says Adobe Flash Player is no longer supported. That's because you click Scratch, not Scratch 3. So if you go back and select Scratch 3, that's the newer version of Scratch that doesn't need the Adobe Flash. That should fix it, and every other step should work. Okay. Scratch 3 is what you're clicking. Awesome. I'm glad that fixed your problem. Cool. So does everyone have their round faces yet? If you do, another thing we can do is to make the definition of our face clearer. I'm just going to click right here on my face using the selection tool. And I'm going to go up a few, just so it's thicker around the face. Okay. What do you do with the fill? I'm just changing the color. So with the fill, you get to decide what color you want to fill your circle with. And right here, if you move the bars for the color saturation and brightness, it would take you on a journey of several colors, and you can just stick to the color that works best for you. Tristan, I don't know what you're saying no to. Can you ask again? Oh, are you saying you're not here with the face yet? Okay, I can do the face again. Hold on, I'll just delete that. Delete. Okay, now I'm going to start over. What I did first was to click on the circle tool right here in the corner. Click on the circle tool right here in the corner, and then go anywhere on your workspace, click and drag. You see? And right now I have a circle or a face without the eyes yet. Okay, I hope that solves it for Tristan and anyone else who needs help with the face. And if I was to change the color of my face to something else, maybe orange. Okay, let's see. Can we draw a face? Yes, we can. Okay. Oops, not yet. Okay, so now that I have my face, I'm gonna go ahead and give it like 2 eyes, just so it looks like a real smiley. And now to do that, I'm also using my circle selection tool, but for this one, I want it to be totally black. So I'm going to reduce the brightness just so I know it's going to only give me black. And now I'm just going to drag this and make 2 eyes for my face. Oops, that's bigger than I wanted. And we want to make the eyes identical also. Okay. I think this one's a bit wider. Okay, and no. And I'll use my selection tool to place my eyes where they don't look scary. And yeah, don't be scared to make mistakes. You can always delete something and fix it. And once you make a mistake, you learn something else, you learn how to correct them. And in case that happens in the future, you are equipped to fix it again for yourself or for your friends or for anyone else around you. Okay, I think that works. And okay, let's see if I'm answering everyone's questions. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, can we go back to this later? Yes, the same thing about the video. If you want to go back to this activity later, it's streaming right now on the Facebook. So the link that worked for Mr. C's video should also work for this if you want to watch it at a later time and then come back to it. Sai says they drew hair. Very cool. I like that you're exercising your creativity. Very nice. I'm going to leave my face kind of bald just because it's cute. Okay, so I think it looks like everyone is up to date. At least anyone that's working with me can. Yes, Jackson said I can copy and paste the eyes. Yeah, true. Smart. Yeah, I should have done that. Tristan has a question. How do you do what? Okay, so before we go on, I'm just going to name this face neutral. Okay, so now that face is named. And because we're going to have three emotions, neutral, happy, and sad, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this so I don't have to create the same face over and over again. Before I do that though, I'm going to make sure to group everything on here just so it stays the same on every other reaction. So to do that, I just select the first item, hold down my shift key, and then click on everything else. And right here at the top, you would see that it gives me the option to group. And I'm just going to select group, and now it's done. So if you want to delete, all you have to do is select the item you want to delete and hit the backspace key on your keyboard, or just delete. Awesome. So now I'm going to right click on my neutral and, oh, okay, look, just responded. Awesome. I'm glad you figured it out, Luke. Okay, so now to make the several faces, to group, I'm just going to do it again. So right now I would ungroup so you can see. And to group, I'm just going to select my first eye, hold down my shift key, select my second eye, and then still holding my shift key, and I'm going to select the face. And right here at the top, you see it says group. I'm just going to click on group, and it is grouped. So if I move it anywhere else on the screen, my entire face moves together. Okay, let's bring it down so it looks cool. Okay, let's see. I think I answered Tristan's question. Yeah. Andy asked, how do you group? I just showed you how to do that. And how do you name in neutral? Okay, I'll do that again right now so you can see. So right here at the top of everything here in this top left corner, you can see where it says costume. If I clicked here where it says neutral, I can decide to change the name. So neutral again. Oops. So that's how you change the name. And I'm going to do it 2 more times with happy and sad so you can see how else to do it. So now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the face. Remember, to duplicate a sprite, all you have to do is right click on the sprite in the top corner right here and select option to duplicate. And now I'm going to do it one more time just because we have two more faces, happy and sad. Okay, and one more duplicate. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and rename them just again. Yes, size says you can click the whole thing and then click group. Yes, that also works. That's another option. Thank you, Sai. Okay, so now we get to change the name of neutral 2 to happy, and neutral 3 is going to be sad. Okay, so before, this face isn't as neutral as I would like it to look because I still want it to have your lips, which would carry most of the emotion for this activity. I'm just going to use a line to indicate that my lips are just like I have a straight face, not like I don't have a mouth. Okay, so I'm just going to click on my line tool right here. It's the first, second, third. It's the fourth one just above the box. I'm going to click on that for my line tool to make my lips. And after that is selected, I'm just going to go in here to my face, find a position that you want the lips to go, and just click and drag. And there you have it. Very neutral face, not giving off any emotion, just straight, nothing. You can't tell me anything right now. Okay, so I want to make the line a bit thicker, so I'm just going to use my select tool, click on the line, and go up with my outline. So my outline is currently on 9. I'm going to click and add some thickness to my line. And yeah, I think 16 is okay. So that works for my neutral face. Okay, that is answered. That is answered. Okay. I saw that Coralie raised their hand, but I need you to type your question, please, and I'll do my best to answer. Okay. So back to our happy face. So for our happy face, we want to make sure our face is smiling. But I'm also going to use my circle tool for that, just to make it faster. So right here, I'll come to where my mouth is and draw a circle, just wide enough that I think would be good for a smile. This looks more like an oval than a circle, but this is what I want. And for my fill, I'm going to keep it black. Yeah. And now to create the smile, I just need to raise the cheeks up a little bit. Just go this way. So to do that, can you show how to group again? We're trying to do it. Oh, okay. I'll just go back a few steps. I'm deleting the lips and I'm just going to select everything that I have here. As you can see, the first thing I did was to select the first eye. I'm holding my shift key because I'm using my computer, my keyboard rather, because that just helps to make sure everything stays in place. So holding my shift key after selecting the first eye, I'm going to select the second eye and select the face. And now I'm going to go up right next to happy. You can just click on group. I hope that answers your question, Tristan. And oh, that was Caleb. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Caleb. Next, I'll just do the same thing for the sad face and click on my first eye, hold down my shift key, click on the second eye and click on the face and go to the top right here where it says group and select group, and it's grouped now. So if I move it anywhere else on the screen, it stays all together. Okay, So for the lips, to create my neutral, I just used the line tool in the corner right here. I selected my line tool, and then I came here to the face where I wanted my lips to be, and then I just clicked and dragged till I got my lips. But I'm just going to delete that right now. I wanted to show you. And if you want to increase the thickness of the line for the neutral lips, you just select the line right here using your selection tool in the top corner right here and go up. Oh, it might disappear because you don't have a fill. So right here where it says outline, make sure that your outline has a number and it's not just 0. Because if your outline is on 0, whenever you draw a line and you click away, it just disappears, right? These are 2 examples. So you can see the first line right here, my outline here is 16, but the second line right here, my outline is 0. So every time I click away, it disappears, and that's why you can't see the line, okay? Okay. So next, I'm going to go on to my happy face. And for my happy face, I'm going to use the circle tool just because. You could also choose to draw your, you could use your freehand, like your brush or anything else you would like to draw your lips or to play along with your face. You can give it hair or anything else that you want. But I'm choosing to use the circle tool. I'm going to create an oval. Let me increase my outline to something else, like 5. And my fill color, I want it to be black. And now I'm just going to come back here and draw something that looks like an oval right here. My face currently looks surprised or shocked or even scared, but I'm going to turn that to a smile. And to do that, I'm going to be using this tool right here to reshape. And any point on my circle that I click on, it lets me extend that corner or move that corner somewhere else. So I'm going to do that to my smile and make my face happy. Okay, and I can move my face somewhere else, just playing around with it until my smile looks like a smile. I think we are there. Okay. Just going to move this. Yeah. Awesome. Sai says they're done. What website are you asking about, Caleb? It's machinelearningforkids.co.uk. Let's go right here and I think this would work for a happy face. It's not perfect, but neither am I. Okay. Awesome. I think our smile is coming together. Yeah, this can work as a smile. I'm just going to move it somewhere else on this face. Yeah. Okay. Much better. And now I'm going to repeat the same step for my sad face. Oops. I'm going to repeat the same step for my sad face by clicking on my circle tool and doing the same thing, but this time I'm turning the smile upside down. Make sure my fill is black. Yep. And now using my select tool, I'll just make it bigger. Okay. And now I'm just going to turn this upside down. And after this part, we're going to go on to the coding part. Our sad face was easier than our happy face. Okay. It's like, how sad do you want to go? Okay. Nice. Let me make this sadder. Okay. Yeah, there we have it. That's our sad face. We are really sad here. Just looking at this is kind of making me sad, so we're going to move on real quick. Okay. Just to answer Caleb's question again, it's machinelearningforkids.co.uk. To answer, yeah, it's machine learning for kids. How do you do the face again? I'm trying to do it. I'll do another face just so you see. I'm duplicating this. I'll just delete my mouth, delete the eyes, delete another eye, and delete the circle. Okay, let me name this another face, which we probably wouldn't use. Okay, real quick, you go select your circle tool and then click anywhere on your page and just drag. To adjust the fill and the color, you can, well, to adjust the fill, which is the color, and the outline, which is the thickness, you can go right here for the outline and either go down or go up. And you can see the results in the top corner right here for the face. And to get your eyes, I'm just going to use the circle tool again, but making sure that my fill is just black. Oops, no, that's not what I wanted. So I'm just going to go back. Make sure to select something else first, and then selecting my circle, I'm going to give myself the eyes right here and changing the fill color of my eyes to black. Now you see. Oops. And now I'm just going to draw another eye right here. So you see how to do the eye again. That's it right now. And for my lips, you could either use a line that I did right here and use the this selection tool. I don't know if the selection tool works for the eye. For the line, yes it does. You could do this. Extend the mouth to make you happy or neutral, or you can make it sad. Just add a few more points so there's a curve, and you can move it around. Oops, however you want it. Just make sure to select the right thing. Okay, and if I wanted to turn my frown upside down real quick, all I have to do is do this, and it becomes a smile. Nice. You could also do that. That's an easier way. Okay, so now that we have our face, I'm just going to delete another face, or we could just leave it here for reference. And now that we're done drawing our faces, that took us a while. We're going to go on to, my sad face is not complete. I'm supposed to give it a teardrop. Okay, to do that, I'll just use my line first of all to create some more emotion with on my sad face. And using this tool, I'm just going to select this right here to make it more sad. And using my circle tool also, I'm going to draw a teardrop. But this time I'm going to give it the fill color of blue and no outline. And you can see this right here is my teardrop. But let's make it bigger. Okay, so that's my teardrop. That is sad. Moving on to something else. So now we have our neutral face, we have our happy face, and we have the sad face. And to get on to our coding, to get back to my coding space, I'm going to click, right here where we're working is the costumes tab, as you can see from the top. I'm going to go back to my code tab, which is right here in the corner, and I'm going to start work. Okay, so click the code tab to enter the following script, which is where we are. We were in the costumes tab and I'm clicking on my code tab. So to start my game, we need an action that shows everyone or anyone that's starting the game. We need an action that tells the game that, hey, when I do this, it means I'm starting the game. So I'm going to go here. One second. Okay. I'm going to go back to my code tab, of course, and go into my events tab and drag the block that says when the green flag is clicked, select it from here and bring it into your workspace and just leave it anywhere that you want it to be. Let me see if I missed any questions. Oh, nice mouth. Thank you, Say. I hope your mouth is nice too. That is answered, and I did the face again. Awesome. So we don't have any lingering questions. So does everyone have their when the green flag is clicked block? So when the green flag is clicked is when our game is starting. So we haven't said anything to our computer yet for it to give us any emotion. So to do that, I'm just going to go and make sure that every time I start my game, it comes back to my neutral face. So to change my face, I'm going to go into the looks tab right here and ask that it switches my costume to the neutral face. Always, always neutral when we start. And the next thing is we're going to ask our player or whoever's interacting with the computer, we're going to ask them a question. So when the green flag is clicked and our faces are neutral, we're going to sense that we should ask a question. So tell whoever to type you a message. So I went into my sensing tab, which is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, which is the sixth bubble right here. It says sensing right below it. So when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to switch my costume to neutral. And next, I'm going to ask that my player or whoever's interacting with my computer, I'm going to ask that they type me a message. And then their answer is what is going to determine how I feel, right? If they say something positive, I would smile. And if they say something negative, that would make me sad, okay? So now I'm going to introduce you to something that we call conditions in programming. So if my player or whoever is interacting with me, if they say something positive, if their answer to my ask right here for them to type me a message, if their answer is positive, then I want to give them a happy reaction. So the condition that they say something nice to me would get them a smile. And if they say something bad to me, like that I smell bad, that's going to make me sad. So I'm going to respond with a sad face. Let's get onto that before we run out of time. Okay, so the first condition right here can be found, the if statement can be found in the control tab, which is right above the sensing tab that we used to ask the question. So if I'm just going to select the if block right here and attach it to what I have here. So if what? So going to my operators tab, I'm going to grab the bubble that lets me get a question and an answer. So if the answer, let's go here into the sensing tab, if the answer to this ask is, I think you are awesome, it's something positive. So I think you're awesome. That would make me happy. Then I'm going to go back to my looks tab to give them a happy face. So I'm going to switch my costume to happy. So now when the green flag is clicked, we know that I'm always going to have a neutral face. I'm testing this as we go along just to give you enough time to catch up. Okay, I'll stop that, make this full screen, and then press my green flag. So when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to ask that you type me a message. And in the answer box right here at the bottom, I'm just going to type that I think you are awesome. And when I click enter to submit my question, to submit my answer to the question, I'm happy because you think I'm awesome. So yay. And there you go, I have a smile. So we're applying the same concept to assuming that you say something bad to me. So now let's just exit out of here and complete the rest of our game, right? Okay, and to test out if the first line, the first block works, which is that every time my green flag is clicked, it means I'm starting a new game. It means that I want to start the game with a neutral face. So when my green flag is clicked, this is what I'm going to do here. I click on my green flag and you can see my face is neutral and I'm asking you to type me a message and someone has a question. Can you repeat the coding, please? Of course I can. Okay, let's do this right now. I can show you again. Let's just move this friend over here to the side. So to start with, I'm going into my events tab. I'm just going to stop this. So I'm going into my events tab, and when my green flag is clicked, when my green flag is clicked, is the first one that you get from the events tab, right? Second, I'm going into my looks tab to grab the block that would help me switch my face. And whenever I start my game, I always want to have a neutral face. So when my green flag is clicked, I want to switch my costume to my neutral face, right? Because I want to start the game very neutrally with no emotions until you say something to me. Okay, so when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to switch my costume, which is my face, to neutral. And then I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask, and to find the ask block, you're going into the sensing tab, and the sensing tab is the sixth one of the options. It's the sixth, like it looks like a teal bubble, and it says sensing just right below it. And I'm going to select the block that lets you ask me a question. And the question I'm going to ask, or the statement I'm going to make, is type me a message. Oops. Okay, so whenever I click on my green flag, it switches my costume to neutral, and then, why this? Okay, and then it asks that you type me a message. So when my green flag is clicked, you can see it types a message. It asks you to type me a message. I hope that I'm answering this correctly. Okay, and then the next thing to do is to where I introduced you to conditions, where if something happens, if a condition is met, then I want you to respond by giving this action. So the condition here is that if whoever is interacting with the computer or interacting with this activity or this game says something positive, in this case, we're practicing with I think you're awesome. You can change this to anything. It could also be I love do space. So if you say I think you're awesome or I love do space, I'm going to respond with a happy face. To do that, to get your condition, your if statement, the block for the if statement is found in the control tab. And I'm just going to click, drag, and place it right here. So if, and to fill in the bubble, I'll go into the operators and look for, first of all, the shape that fits this space right here, which is the equal to one, because I want your answer to be what I want it to be. So now I'm just going to place this right here and go back into my sensing tab to grab the answer block. So when my answer is equal to I think you are awesome, it lets you type in anything that you want. So I think you're awesome is the answer. So if you type in I think you're awesome, then I'm going to respond to you with a happy face. I in this case is the computer. The computer is going to respond with a happy face. So to switch to a happy face whenever anyone says you're awesome, you're just going to go back into the looks tab to switch the costume to the happy face that you created earlier, and we're going to switch the costume to happy. So now when you click on the green flag, it brings you back to the neutral face. And if I was to type a message, I think you are awesome, and enter, it gives you a happy face. Does that make sense? Cool. So now I'm just going to delete this so that we're back to here. Oops. Move this over here. Cool. And now the next thing to do would be to give the bad case in this sense where you say something mean to me and it hurts my feelings. So I'm going to let you know and be sad. Okay, so back to the control tab again. I'm going to get my if block for the second one. Just repeat the same process again. Go into my operators to grab the block that fits the space and what else I need, which is equal to. So I'm going to do this and place it right here. Ignore the 50, we can always delete that. And go back into my sensing tab and grab the answer block, put it in the first bubble, the first space. And now I'm going to say something bad, like you smell bad. And now that I just told myself that I smell bad, that's not a nice thing to say. So that's, in that case, my computer or you or me, in this case, I'm going to respond with a sad face. And that's where you switch the costume to sad, and we're going to test it out. Okay, so when my green flag is clicked, it asks that you type me a message. And I'm going to say, you smell bad. And that makes me sad. Okay, so let's try this again. When my green flag is clicked, you ask me to type your message. And for that, I say, I think you are awesome. And enter, and I'm happy. So, should you have said you smell bad when I asked you to type me a message? If you said you smell bad, that would make me sad. And there we have it. Is everyone up to this point? Do you have any questions on how to get your computer to do this? Okay, it looks like everyone is all caught up, and I'm very happy about that. But this activity does a lot, it goes further than reacting. But because we've come to like almost the top of the hour, and I want you all to be refreshed for when we move on to Mystery Code Society and the awesome activity they have planned for us. I don't want you to be exhausted. I'm just going to send you a link right here that lets you go into the tutorial for an activity that works exactly like this. So right now in the chat, I'm going to copy the link and put it in the chat for anyone who wants to go explore more machine learning for this activity. That's the link to the activity right there. Or let me copy. I'll give you two different links and you can just go to whichever one works better for you. Okay, come on. Okay, well, there we have it. That's our happy face. I'm going to leave you all with a smile. So I think you are all awesome. Oops, I didn't spell my thing right. So I think you are all awesome for being here with me and for being so engaging and just spending time with me. So I'm going to leave you with a smile, and I think you're awesome. So see you. This is an actual smile. I'm trying my best to smile just like the smiley face, but my face doesn't work like that. But this was fun. I hope you guys learned a few things, or I hope you go on to try the activity from start to finish, and that this makes you more excited about machine learning. But yeah, stay tuned for the next activity with Mystery Code Society. They're really cool. So yeah, let's take a 7-minute break, and we would be back at the top of the hour to learn how to code with Mystery Code Society. So see you in a second.
Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. There we had a little sound relay there, but hello, welcome to the kickoff again. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the activity so far. Do remember that we do have a bean stack and a lot of like take and makes here at Do Space, so you can stop by later, pick up a passport for the later activity, and then go to Beanstack, fill out some badges, and win some prizes like some cool Lego kits and such. Now up next we have Mystery Code Society. We will have two people from Code Society leading activity with us today. They're both named Autumn and Trisha. And then up here now, what's coming up here with Mostly Chris Society, you may not know who they are at all. Well, they are a group that offers free beginner to intermediate coding education to people of marginalized genders. Education they offer in classes, workshop meetings, and other educational events. Their focus is students 5th to 12th grade. The make can include more. They've done really cool activities with teaching people Unity, and someone says, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, I can. Okay, just looking over to sound, make sure things are fine. Okay, good. Yeah, but they've taught really cool stuff with Unity and other game development stuff, and here they are.
Hey, my name is Autumn and I'm with Mystery Code Society. I'm just going to go ahead and get my screen shared and we'll jump right in. All right. So I'm Autumn from Mystery Code Society, and like it was just said, we normally teach coding classes. So you may be wondering, why are we going to teach you about graphic design? Well, that's because first we need to back up a little bit. So graphic design is everywhere. Every website you visit, whether it's to learn or watch videos, or even all of the apps that you love to use, all had to start with graphic design before we could even start coding. So look at this box. Do you see just all these little boxes? It might be a little confusing, but actually it's Netflix. So this is called a wireframe. So before you start coding, you first have to think out, what do I want to create? And where does it need to go? And what do I need to tell the coders to code? And so we create wireframes. And so this is used to just plan out everything. And it looks pretty simple, but it helps a lot because have you ever tried, oops, there we go. Have you ever tried building a house out of Legos or painting a really big picture, but you've never checked to see, what am I going to make? How am I going to make it? And it can turn out pretty crazy and a little messy, right? Maybe the Lego house is falling over because you didn't plan out how you're going to support it at the base, or you ran out of room on your piece of paper because you didn't realize just how big the painting you were going to make would be. So this is why we need wireframes. Oops, there we go. So they look pretty basic, pretty simple, and they can either be made with computers or with just a pen and pencil. But what they do is they help us know, okay, this file is going to go here and this file is going to go there, so that when you go to create it, you know exactly where everything goes. Let's look a little closer. So see at the top right there, there's a logo. And then more towards the middle, there's photos. Okay, you might be thinking, oh, those are the same thing. Those are the same type of files. I'll just say, hey, put a picture there and put a picture there. Well, actually, they're two completely different types of files. So most images you see on a computer screen are one of two things. One is raster and one is vector. And so looking at them, they might look a little different. I mean, they're not of the same girl, but if you look closer, you can really see there's some big differences there. The raster image is a photograph, while the vector image looks like it's a drawing. It looks like someone made it on the computer, but there's more details to that. So raster images are made by drawing a picture by coloring in boxes. Each of those little boxes, those little squares are called pixels. And all of those pixels put together are called a bitmap. Vectors, on the other hand, are actually computer equations. And so you draw the picture by connecting the dots and telling the computer where those dots are and how they're connected. Let's look a little deeper first. So raster images, like I said, are created by boxes called pixels, and all of those pixels together create a bitmap. And they're very detailed. There are millions of colors out there because when you zoom in, look at her eye. It's a little blurry, but that's because every little bit of that picture is a tiny little pixel that's a different color. Let's see here, it's a little easier. So we really zoomed in to this picture of a laptop, and there's an H, that's actually a header, it's part of coding. And you can see those little boxes all around the H, it's a little blurry, it's hard to see. Well, that's because this is a raster image, and that's how these images are compiled. It's all these tiny little pixels of each individual color. Super cool. But when you blow them up or you zoom really close in, they get blurry. They're really hard to see. So let's check out raster images. So raster images, when you zoom in, like I said, it's all those pixels. And this is actually how the computer reads them. So let's go a little closer. Here we go. Look, you can even see each individual pixel and what color. This is called hex code. And it's a way for the computer to categorize all of the colors and know exactly which one you're calling out. So the FDF 100, that's yellow, or this specific color of yellow in the smiley face. Whereas the 000, which you can see one in the bottom right corner of this zoom up, that's black. And that's true black, the only complete black. But there's other versions of it. You might see the 0 E0E00. That's a little bit lighter of black, more like a gray, but super complicated, but you can get all of these millions of colors into this image. But now let's talk about vector images. So like I said, these are based on code, mathematical formulas, and they're infinitely scalable. So no matter how close you zoom in, it's going to look nice and crisp because instead of all those little pixels, it's just code. And so we can replicate that code at any size. You can just keep zooming in forever and it's always going to look good. Well, I mean, if you zoom in too far, all you're going to see is maybe one line, but it's going to look nice and crisp. You see the logo, our Mystery Code Society logo, I zoomed in on that as well, and perfectly crisp. There's no little boxes of the pixels hanging around the edges because it's code. And this is actually what the code for our logo looks like. Let's zoom in on that a little bit more. And you see, not only are there numbers, but there are words and instructions for the computer. And if I was to open this up, I could actually change some of those words and change what the picture looks like. And I don't even have to go into a photo editor at all to do that. It's all right there in the code. Okay, so let's see in the real world, how would the different ones be used? So we have this girl at her computer. It could be you, it could be me. Let's zoom in on the raster. So up top, I have raster and then in parentheses, .jpg. That's a really common file name for raster images. That's usually if you take a picture with your phone or with your camera, it's going to be a JPEG file. There's lots of different ones, but that's the most common one. Whereas on the other hand, vector is an SVG file, and that's, again, the most common ones. For vector, the other types of common file names are going to be for the actual programs that you created them in, but SVG is pretty universal. So let's zoom in on the raster. And look, it got all blurry because the picture was made really small of the girl. And so when we zoom in, we start seeing all of those pixels. That's why it's really blurry. But if it was a vector and we zoom in, look, it's all nice and crisp. It looks great. So maybe you were making a billboard and you wanted to make sure you could zoom it up to be the size of a house. And a vector would look great, whereas the raster would be really pixelated. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But sometimes you can't tell the difference. So let's look at this video of a tree. So from right here, they look pretty much about the same. The one on the left is the raster and the one on the right is the vector. And as we start zooming in, you start to notice the differences, especially as you get closer. The raster starts getting pixelized, which is where you see all those individual pixels. Well, the vector is nice and clean. You see all of those lines, but you've lost a lot of the detail. Even though it's pixelated, the tree still looks better. And even zoomed out, well, they both look the same. The sky's a little different on the vector. So let's look over here. Come on, one more, here we go. So this picture of kids in a classroom. The one on the left is still a raster, so that's a picture. That's what it looks like coming out of the camera. And it's great, there's lots of detail there. And then the one on the right is a vector. I actually put this photo through our program to create it into a vector. But as you can see, we're losing a lot of the detail. If you look at the kids' faces, you see those shapes again, which is great. You can scale it up and it's gonna look just the same, no matter how big or how small, but we're losing some of that detail. So we're gonna need to use both raster and vectors to create a really beautiful website or program. So let's see how that's used. So here at DoSpace, their own website uses both vector and raster images when they created their website. So at the top there, you see the DoSpace logo, and then you also see a location icon, a search bar, and then the one on the far right is called a hamburger menu because it kind of looks like a hamburger. But those are all vectors because you might be visiting the site on completely different things. You could be using your phone, you could use a tablet, you could use a computer, you could be using a computer that's projecting it onto a big screen. And so you want those images to look good, those graphics to look good no matter what size that you're looking at. But you also want detail. So there are photos, but they're smaller. They're not going to be blown up as much. And if you want, after today, you can go on a website and try resizing it. Try looking at it on your phone, maybe on a tablet, or even just make the window bigger and smaller on your laptop. And you'll see those images. If they get too big, they might not look as good. So, but you still want to have photos on a website. You get to see people's faces. It looks really good. So now let's circle all the way back to wireframes. We talked about this at the beginning. So before you can start coding, you need to know what you're going to be making. So we can actually try right now making a wireframe. I'll give you a minute or two. If you can get just a piece of paper and a pen. You don't need anything fancy. I have a pen here, a pencil. You don't need markers, colored pencils, any of that. We're going to make it really simple. So run and grab that now, and I'll be here waiting. I'm actually going to make one with you. All right, and no worries if you're still grabbing paper or a pen. This isn't a race. We can all make these together. So you might be thinking, oh, what am I going to make? So this picture is a really good example. You can even try just remaking this yourself if you wanted to sketch that out with a pencil. What I did is I made one for my website. And so I put a logo at the top. I put where I want the picture of me to go. I put where some videos could go and even like and comment buttons. And you can try drawing out a website for yourself. Maybe make a website where you'd want people to go and maybe register to come to your birthday party, RSVP on the website. There's so many different things. Or you could make an app. Maybe you make an app that you and your friends can use to share photos with each other, kind of like Instagram. And you can just draw that out. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. The picture on the screen does have a lot there, but wireframes can be very simple, like you can see with mine, just boxes and words. And I've even said what type of image I want. So I want this picture of me to be a raster because I want it to be the best quality of me. But I want the logo and the other icons to be vectors because I want them to always look nice and crisp. And so, yeah, let's take a couple minutes and I'm going to even add to mine. I think I'm going to add a section down here where people can send me an email. Let's see, we're going to work on that. All right, so I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm just drawing more boxes. So let me draw them and I'll show you them in just a second. All right, so I added in some boxes at the bottom where people can put their name, their email address so I can reply to them, and then they can write their message right here. And again, it's very simple. It's just these boxes. But then once this wireframe is completed, I could give this to a developer and say, hey, can you code me a website that looks like this? And they know exactly where everything needs to go. And they even have that send button over there. Obviously, it doesn't do anything. It's just a drawing on a piece of paper. But when you go to code, now you know this is where I need to put that box. And so you can put it right there instead of maybe putting it up here and be like, oh no, I need to move it down there. It's all nicely laid out so that you have a template, a blueprint to work from. It's kind of like instructions when you get like a Lego set and you want to put them together. Because imagine just getting a big bag of Lego pieces and not knowing what it looks like. Maybe you do have the finished picture, but you don't know about all of the individual steps to get there. That's what wireframes do. So I'm going to give you another minute to keep working on your wireframes, and you can keep working on these later. And if you wanted to join a Mystery Code Society class, we could even maybe help you build out those wireframes into a website or an app. Who knows? So what I am going to do is hand off to Trisha. So Trisha actually is a designer and she builds wireframes like this in real life. So hi, Trisha. Oh, it looks like you're still muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you
There
so
we
much,
go.
Autumn. That was great. This is so exciting. So Autumn has shown us how to get our wireframes set up here in Sketch. And so now, once we have our wireframes kind of sketched out on pencil and paper, how do we put it into the computer? And so that's what I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second here. Okay, here we go. So if you can all see my screen, I'm first going to walk you through a few of the tools that will get you started in Inkscape. So Inkscape is a free tool. It's similar to maybe something you're more familiar with, like Adobe Illustrator. There's a few other ones that are browser-based. There's like Sketch and Figma, but today we'll use Inkscape. So I'm going to show you how and where to find all of these. So there's lots of buttons here, where to start. So the first tool I want to talk about is the edit document properties. So it looks like this here with the little paper icon. And where we can find that is up here in the top. So if I click it, it then opens up this document properties window. So here's where we can tell it for web design, we want to use pixels. If you were doing something that you wanted to print, you would use inches. But for what we want to do, we'll use pixels. I have this one set up currently at iPad landscape size. As far as the width, and then however the height needs to be, like how long your content needs to scroll, is how high up you'll want your height to be. And you'll also want to make sure that this is set up in pixels too. I'm going to be sharing a file with you in the chat in just a little bit. So we'll have all of this document properties stuff already set up for you, so you don't need to worry about this anymore. So we're going to close that window. And then I also want to share with you the layers panel. So I have a few different layers set up in this file. So this section here, I named it tool names. And so the little I is the hide and show button. So if I'm working on something and I don't want to have my screen cluttered with all my different layers, I can hide something just so I can hone in on that one specific area that I'm working in. The right next to it is also the lock button. And so by locking it down, it won't let me click on it. I can't touch it, it locks it. So that way I don't accidentally click on something that I don't want to edit, that it's final, and I like the way that it is. But for now, I'm gonna keep it unlocked. Any questions, please jump in and let me know in the chat. So the next set of tools is where it gets really fun. So we have off to the side here, the rectangle and squares. So if I click this and then I drag across the screen, I can now make a rectangle. So all of this that it's making on the screen is your vector. So we can then make it bigger or smaller, and the quality will be very smooth at any size. So I can then switch to the circle button, and then I can make a circle. There's also one for stars, and then you'll see up at the top, across the top, you can change how many points you want on your star. So then we'll make a star tool or star element. There's a few others that I'm going to kind of skip over for time purposes today, but you can explore these a little bit further. There's the 3D shapes, spirals, and then custom shapes. So this one, real quick, I'll show you. If there's a shape that you want to make and it's not like a standard shape, you can make it yourself using that tool. And then there's also the freehand drawing and calligraphy tools. So that is really handy, especially when we're going to take our wireframe sketches and put them into the computer. But I'll move on to the third section here. So the next thing I want to touch on is the select objects and the object path. So I'm going to jump back over here. So on these, over in the very top corner, you'll see this little cursor. So this one is very handy. If I select my rectangle here, I can then drag it around the screen and move it wherever I want to. It also, you'll see all of these little arrows everywhere. So this, you click it and then you can drag it and then I can make a square. You can also pull it from the corner and it'll size up or down proportionally, but actually there's also a lock button up here by the height and width. So that way it won't let me, so I'm kind of moving my mouse a little crazy here, but it's staying at that same proportion. So if I unlock that and I do the same thing, it's going to kind of just jump all over the place. So sometimes that lock button is really handy. So that's how you use the select tool. The one right below it is for those custom tools. So I have over here where I created this custom shape, and it has all these little points on it. And these little points, I can use the direct select tool here, and I can then click it and only move that one point around. So I can make my shape completely different by just moving that one point around on the screen. I'm not sure if there's any questions yet. Autumn, feel free to jump in if there's any questions.
No questions yet. They're just excited to get the file soon and start working on it.
Okay, cool. So the next one is the create text. So this little A icon here, if you go ahead and click it, then that's where you can get your text and start typing. And so you'll see up at the top, you'll have your drop down here for the fonts. You can change your fonts. I have a ton on my computer, but Sign Painter doesn't have any bold or other options. So we'll change that here. So over on this drop down, you can see where you can change it to bold. This is where you change the font size. And then the next thing that I wanted to show you all is where to change the colors. So we have, if you jump down a couple from the text select, is the color picker and the paint bucket. So if right now I have the black selected, let me grab, let's do blue. So you can see that my paint bucket shows the blue in the cursor now. And then the eyedropper, anywhere I hover over, it will grab that color and then put it onto the screen. So actually I need to select my object first and then click the eyedropper tool. Oops, one second here. So now it'll change my shape to black. Okay, so those are the main things to get started. At this time, we'll drop the link to the file into the chat. Since I'm in presentation mode, I am not sure where
I got it. I just
the
dropped it
chat
in there
is.
for you.
Okay,
It's a
thank you
Google
so
Drive
much.
link. So just click the download button. When you get there, let me know if you can't. And then do make sure to open Inkscape on your computer and then open the file, because if you just click it, it may be Google Chrome that you're in, it will try and open in there and it won't work very well.
So I'm going to open and show a few activities here. This is what your screen is going to look like when you get the file opened. So we're going to start at this first activity and basically just kind of play around with resizing these images and see if you can notice the things that Autumn showed in her presentation about how if we get super big with this image, you can see where it gets really fuzzy and it's just not a very good quality at that size. And then, so this example is the same from her presentation. So you can also play around with this. If you want to open up Inkscape, you're more than welcome to follow along. You have the same image files in the file that was dropped into the chat. Otherwise, you can just continue to watch me on the screen. That's fine, whatever your comfort level is. Any questions that I can ask or answer at this point?
It looks like Andy was having problems getting the file to open. So I shared if you open up the Inkscape's program first and then go up to File in the very top, and then there should be File, and then it says Open, and then you should be able to find the file wherever you downloaded it. And if you click that way, it might help open up easier.
Thank you, Autumn. We'll just keep moving along here. And if you have any questions, feel free to continue to drop them into the chat. The second activity that we have is to just go ahead and maybe pick a color. I'm going to do this kind of maroon color here. So I always go back to the select tool and then I jump into whatever I'm going to do next if I'm going to type or create an object. So I'm going to create a rectangle, just kind of practice over the top of that rectangle on the screen. And then I'm going to see if I can make let's pick a different color. Let's do purple. Oh, it changed it changed the rectangle because I had it selected. It went ahead and changed it when I hit that color. So unselect it, hit the circle button, click the purple, and now I can make a purple circle. I can also go back to this select tool and I can change it and make an oval. If you click in the center, you'll see this little icon here, and you'll notice that the arrows around it changed. So let me do that again real quick. So normally they're up and down and out. If I click in the middle, they shift. So they go sideways. So this is kind of fun. You can really distort your shape that way with that tool there. And then the ones that are kind of the curved arrows are the rotate tool. So I can rotate, maybe I want it to go this way. So you can have a lot of fun with this and kind of just practice get a feel for how that works with the mouse, or if you're using a trackpad or a touch device. So then the next activity over here is, if I have these shapes, just practicing dragging them across the screen and getting them to line up where I want them to line up. This one's a little all out of shape here. So we'll remove this gray one and see if I can line it up on the dotted outline. There we go. And then I can also just practice with the eyedropper tool. So I have it selected and I'm going to hover over this purple, and then it's going to change to purple. Now, if I take my cursor, and this is where the eyedropper tool gets really handy. If I take my cursor and I hover over an image and I'm like, oh, I really like that hunter green, I click there and it changes to that green. So you can really pick whatever color you want. If you're looking at a photo and you want to match the photo, maybe I want to try this green grass color. So that's really handy. If it's not down here in the color toolbar, the color that you want, you can drop your image into Inkscape and then use the eyedropper tool. Any other questions? And take a minute here. Okay. So now I have, and I'm going to hide some of this stuff here. I have another layer called Wireframe. So actually, real quick, this whole white screen is called your artboard. Back at the beginning, when I set up the dimensions of the project, this is what it was changing, this faint gray outline. So that is actually my board that my like canvas. Everything else is just kind of my scratch area where I can kind of play around with elements and see about experimenting with things. And then once I have a final design, it needs to go in this rectangle in order for it to be able to export, or if you want to print it or save it as a image or PDF or something like that. So I'm going to turn on this layer here, and I've organized the layers by the sections. So I'll just show you like this. I can toggle hide and show the hero or the header, excuse me, the header. This is what we typically call a hero area. It's the first thing that you see on a website. So it's usually the, like, if there's a sale, that's where they really want to like highlight that sale if you're on an e-commerce website. And then as you go down the home screen, it'll get more detailed information. So whoops, hit the wrong button there. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit here. Move this over. So as you can see, it's basically just boxes on the screen. So these little lines here, these boxes represent where I would put text. The bigger box up here represents where I'd put a headline, and then also maybe a headline here and a headline here. And these squares, these darker, I have it grouped, so that's why it's selecting the way it did. I can change the colors, but so these boxes represent images. And then also down here have the images as well. So maybe I have this set up as like an image gallery in a grid is kind of what I was thinking there. And then with these images, I'd have some text underneath it describing the images. And then at the very bottom, typically you have a footer. And so we put like an email address or contact information, kind of your legal and copyright information, that kind of stuff. And then let me jump back up to the top here. So we'd put your logo here. These could be like your home button, your about button. What else? Maybe a contact button and then a gallery button. You could replace these with maybe some icons or maybe another button to a different page. But as you can see, this one's pretty basic, and it's kind of just colors or boxes on the screen. These colors can be representative of like a background color, or maybe this top one has a background image. And typically wireframes start with just gray, variations of the gray. We won't add color in to the designs until we get further along in the process. And then as you work with maybe your client or your friend, or if you're doing it on your own, say you really like this design and that you have sketched out and wireframed, then you can start adding in your pictures and adding in your colors, and then writing out your text and adding the text in. And maybe as you start writing the text, you'll discover that you have a lot of text and the design needs to change. So then you can kind of move things around on the screen and go from there. Any other questions? That's kind of the end of my demo. I do want to give a little shout out to Mystery Code Society again. Whoops, where'd it go? If this is something that you're interested in, we have several classes throughout the school year and the summertime. So you can find out more information on when our classes are coming up on our social media channels. And you can also, if you have an awesome wireframe, we'd love to see it. And please send it to us at hello@mysterycodesociety.com. We'd appreciate you sharing your designs with us and seeing what you come up with. So thank you so much for your time today. And I'll just let you in the next a few minutes before the next class starts. Continue to work on these if you would want, or continue sketching, however you want to spend the next few minutes. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Trisha and Autumn, for showing that very cool activity. I had a lot of fun with Inkscape. If you guys are interested in this contact, again, you can email them at Hello Mystery Code Society. And check out their programs. There's a few people here at USpace that joined Girls Who Code that did more advanced stuff with Mystery Code Society, and they all enjoyed it very much. Once again, thank you very much. And I wish you, Trisha and Autumn, a good day. We still have more activities for everyone else, but thank you very much again, Trisha and Autumn. Now, the next thing we got here, well, I just realized I was zoomed in here. The next thing we have up at 1 p.m. is the passport activity. That's again not for a while. So you guys can actually like log out and go ahead, log in back in at 1. We'll just keep this up and running for a bit. Just know that this activity is now done. And the next one is at 1 p.m. Thank you very much. Yeah, there is kind of a thing right here. So there's something going on over there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's just my camera here. We'll be switching that tool soon. But hello, welcome back, and thank you for patiently waiting. Before I show this passport, I want to show a few cool prizes that we have. So if you go to Beanstack, actually, I'll share my screen Beanstack first, so everything makes sense. Let me get that here. There we go. So if you log into Beanstack and create a child account, you'll see this is Beanstack here. I have my little child account called Little Ruth for pretend child to show you guys this. But this challenge will only show up for like ages 18 below, I believe. No, 16 below. And you'll see this challenge here for kids to participate in. You can also participate as a family. When you click on the challenge that we have here, that includes today's activities, you'll scroll down and you see badges earned. Oh, look at that. I already earned some badges. I earned badges for signing up and earning 200 points already. That's because I chose these two here. If you are trying to find like where the badges are exactly, when you click on challenges, you scroll down, there's like a second bar right here below the name. You click on badges and you'll see point badges here. These are the ones for our prizes that are given away. There's a Lego set, laser cut sculpture, and a t-shirt. By the way, I'll show the t-shirt soon, but I'm wearing it. But if you click on activity badges, so there's point badges to see how many points you got, and then challenge badges, but right here it says activity badges. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's stuff badges like attend a DoSpace webinar, complete a coding tutorial, mini kickoff, mini-con right here. If you click on this right here, it gives you instant 100 points. If you participate in the Scratch, make a computer feel, you can add this one too, complete a coding tutorial. I'm gonna make the paper circuit too. So I'm gonna click that right there. And I see that right here, it says Summer Passport Rocket Paper Circuit, start our passport by making the passport light up. And yeah, I watched him. We're about to make it real soon. Oh, 100 points, sweet. Yeah, another 100 points. So go towards my points and badges. Well, I got 300 points now, but I need at least 500 to get the next point. You can see right here, 300 at 500 to get the next part. Now I'm going to show you guys how to, what the projects are. So someone asked, what is our username and password? So let me sign out here. I should link this too. Sign out. Okay. I'm going to link this right over into chat. There it is. This is just if you want, to take part of our summer challenge and earn prizes. This is our DSpace Beanstack here, and this is where you register. You scroll down, register individual, family, register class or group is how you get to our Beanstack page. It's our digital passport. Usually we had like all this stuff on paper form, but we decided to be cool and have a digital version here. Now I'm stopping share here and I'm going to switch cameras here. So you see, understand why this is right here. So I'm switching cameras. No. Hold on, I'm going to go back over here. So while that's being fixed, I have this little sticker sheet right here. It's missing one sticker, but this comes with the slot sculpture prize, number 2. The sticker for that is right here, right there. It's a little astronaut. Got some stickers. It's not just stickers. There's another part to this prize. So that's part 1. The first prize is actually a little like this. I picked out the penguin and I put it together. And it's so cute. You can twist its legs and go doot doot. It's pretty simple to put together. That's right there. You get that as the first entry prize. Oh yeah, all I have to do is complete 2 badges today and you can get this as a prize already. And the last prize is a t-shirt or a drawstring bag. And I'm wearing the t-shirt right now. It's a bright yellow rocket for Explore Learning Code right there. So those are the prizes that you can earn. They're lots of fun. Lots of more activities to take part of. Now I'm going to try switch my camera again. Nope, I'm going to try stop the video real quick. I'm still here. I'm just checking something. Oh, okay. And then back to this here, start video. There we go. There's my hand here. Okay, so if you go to DoSpace right now, you can actually pick this up. If you already have this right here, I'm gonna fix, there you go. You can get this, if you already have this, you can pull this out and we're gonna make this. Tomorrow, the instructions for this will be released, or you can just watch this recording on Facebook. Or again, you could just come to DoSpace, pick it up and look at the instructions there too. What if your school's not there? I think you can choose the blank category and you'll accept it, or other somewhere in there too, at the bottom. That's for Beanstack, if people are wondering. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this over here and open up and see what we got. Let's see here, I'm so excited. The project's pretty, it's lots of fun, it's cute. It uses electricity, part of our little take and make theme here for the summer. Making sure I get everything out here. And I don't need that anymore. Oh, I got a passport. It's got some things in here. Oh, what's this? I open this up. It tells me the things that I'll find in here. It's kind of, you know, a little bright here, so I'm going to read it. This kit, you'll find one passport, one nylon conductive tape. There's the conductive tape. It's this little silvery thread ribbon here. Battery. So here's the battery. It's a little coin battery, 3 volts. LED, that's this little thing here. If you lose this, just come to DoSpace and it'll give you a new one. I think it might be lost because, you know, it's kind of small here. Make sure the legs are intact right there. Okay. And then I'm just fixing one thing here. Making sure everything's in there. Okay. And then what is this? This little thing here. This little thing is foam tape. So we got this little bit of foam tape here. You're not sharing. I can't see it. I am sharing my camera. Do you see my camera? Yeah, I can see my camera over here. So if you click on view at top, you can switch to speaker view. It's focused. Double click on the camera and it'll full screen the camera for you. Or double tap with your own phone. Like look for the cameras and double tap on the camera. Let's see here. Can I force it to stay on the same? No. You guys, small people. Oh, I can pin this video. Hopefully that makes it focused in. Yeah. There we go. You got this little. This is the little foam tape here. Okay. So in this passport, you can open up. It's got a few activities in here. It's got like a little part where you can draw a pixel portrait. You can put your name on here, how to get started for sign up Beanstack, how to earn points. It's got all the activities you can do. Through they're also listed on Beanstack. Oh, there's a little QR code you can just scan to get you straight to Beanstack. And then our little project schedule. So on June 7th is tomorrow, releasing fireworks in a jar and DIY speakers. Next is binary code bracelet, create your own operation game on June 21st. So every 2 weeks, new take and makes show up. And yeah, you guys can just come in and pick them up and try out the activities. Instructions are also released online and a video of how to do it. Now, for the light up activity here, if you go back to the first page, you'll see this little diagram here. It's a little light, but it's got like this gray moving like through all around. And it's got like these little squiggly lines, a plus and a minus. Right here, it's kind of hard to see, it says battery, positive side up, and double stick foam tape all through here. So first thing we want to do
When we're starting like a little project, we want to, open things up, but also test if things work. So I'm going to open up my battery first. I know the thing that doesn't light up, but it makes things light up. So part of making everything cool and awesome. So I'm going to note one side has a plus on it and the other side doesn't have anything on it. This side plus is positive and this side is negative. Electricity moves in a circle, or that's why it's called circuit, because circular, or also kind of like through line. Positive is I'm like really, there's way more information to this. So I'm like really trying to like keep it super simple, but like positive is where it has the most voltage and negative is where it has the least. If you put positive and positive together, it can cause a spark. Negative together, usually nothing happens. Sometimes things can happen, but usually nothing. So electricity, usually you want to have one side be positive and the other side be negative, so the electricity can flow through it into a circle. So if you look at the LED, I'm going to move to the screen here so it'd be easier to see. If you kind of locate, one of the legs is longer than the other here. If you wonder what an LED is, it's like a tiny light bulb. It stands for light emitting diode. But the leg right here that's longer is positive. It has no power on it, but it takes positive charge. The other leg takes negative charge. So if you look really closely into LED, the other project, you'll see like there's a little wire that goes into here that tells the LED which side is what. If I put this little battery here in, like this, oh, it's not working. I wonder, oh, I know why. It's because I don't have the sides match up. So you put the long leg touching the positive side and the negative leg touching the bottom side, the negative leg to the negative side. One person asked, what are we making? So if you didn't know, this little summer passport here, you can pick up here, do space. We're making a little light up passport where you can stick this little LED here and you got like a light up passport. And you can always pick one of these up at do space. If you're not in the Omaha area, you can try getting supplies and pick up one of your own. I have a question Q&A. What if we don't have this stuff? Do we just watch? Yeah, you can just watch and learn some things about electricity here. Again, you can also come into Do Space and pick one up. They're tons of fun and they are free. Everything we do is free, except for, paper printing, but lots of free. But like, okay, so you gotta test your LED first. You see it's lighting up a bunch of different colors. Gotta make sure it's testing. So yeah, it's testing, it's working. Okay, now we can set up this little, forgot what these are called, schematic here. Okay, so first things first here is that we're gonna poke a hole right here where the LED is. You can use a pen, scissors. I'm gonna use a pen. And yeah, kind of stick this through right here. Oh, another supplies I have, pen and scissors, something cut or just something, that can pierce paper. And I'm just gonna stab this part right here. There we go. Just making some room in here. And this is where our LED is gonna stick through. Put this right through here. There we go, and then turn around. I can see the little LED sticking through. I'll turn this the other way. So I have the paper going in instead of out. That's just the design choice that I have. Okay. There we go. Got my little LED sticking through here. Okay, so now I'm turning around and I'm gonna try to hold this up closer here. Okay, so one side has positive, one side's negative. So make sure you got positive next to the positive mark and negative next to the negative mark. And then you bend these down, bending it down. There you go. So it lines up with those marks right there. There we go. Okay, so we got that there. Now, how do we get this to the back? Because like the battery's right here. And all of these right here. How am I going to get it light up? Well, we have conductive tape, and it's double-sided conductive. It's not conductive just on one side. What it means to be conductive, it means it can pass through electricity. So that's really handy. It's kind of like a wire, but just in ribbon form. So I'm just going to grab my scissors here because I'm going to try to line things up. I'm going to start with my negative side. You usually want to start with negative when you work with electricity because that has lower voltage, so you don't hurt yourself. Don't worry, this won't hurt you at all. But just letting you know, we usually start with negative or ground first, just so you can be safe. But again, this thing, no, it's not going to do anything. The most it will do if it's break. That's about it. Okay, so I'm just kind of looking at this little gray part that's squared off, a little darker, and I'm going to cut this tape and line it up to that. That's the nice thing about this tape. It's that it's double-sided conductive. The reason why I'm so happy about that is because we used to have tape that was only conductive on one side. So we had to do like some weird things to get it, things to stick to it. Now, I am really, really bad at pulling things apart. Like, I always, like, every time I try to pull a sticker off the book, I can never get the whole sticker off. I just can't, so I try to not buy books with stickers on them. I might have to ask my friend here to help me with this, if I can get it. I think I almost got, nope. Oh, this doesn't take me too long. And I even have, they're short nails, but they're kind of long here to get this off. Do I got it? Nope. I am tearing it off by accident. No, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Oh, got a little thing started here. Yes, I got it. Only 4 more sides to do that with. Yeah, I got that off now, and I'm just gonna stick it right on the negative side here. There we go. Oh, a little bit of my leg is sticking out, just kind of tucking it in, making sure it has good contact. For electricity to pass through, you gotta have good contact. So I'm making sure it's pretty stuck to that leg. Okay, now for that next part, to here to here. Okay, measuring it out, grabbing scissors, cutting it, there we go. And here we go again. Trying to get the sticky part off. The smaller is negative, right? Yes, that's correct. The smaller leg is negative. What do you do after you get the LED? After you get the LED, I think you mean by grabbing it and putting it down, well, where we put tape along it. Or if you're wondering about powering it, you grab a battery to power it. I hope that's what you're asking. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, like, correct as I answered wrong, because I might do that. Okay, got that open. Second piece of the tape done. Wow, that side was easier. And we just put this along that edge here. Okay, so I'm actually going to go, I'm skipping over here because there's actually a certain setup we have to do for the battery. So I'm going to size now for the positive side. Now, make sure this tape doesn't overlap to the negative. If we have this tape overlap to the negative side right here, that is what is called a short circuit. A short circuit is when we're cutting the flow short here. If I have this overlapping, it will connect positive to negative through here without even touching the battery. So make sure the tape is separate from each other on that part. Got that. Now to remove this tape. Oh, more questions. Here. Oh, I just forgot to dismiss them. Okay, I got it. I can do it. I'm having trouble with this one. I can do it. There we go. Yeah, I got it. Got it. There we go. Okay. Now, just getting this right on there, making sure it has clear contact. Okay, there we go. Now for this side right here. And I can do it. Oh, got it, got it. Yeah, there we go. The hardest part for me is just taking the tape off. Okay, right there. Make sure it's got good contact with the previous tape. Press it down, all the way down. Oh, there's another question here. Where do you get the book? You can get the book here at Do Space, 7205 Dodge Street, Omaha, Nebraska. We're giving out to the area. So yeah, you can pick these one up here. Just go right in, ask for a passport, and we'll give you one. And it's free. There you go. Okay, now here's the next part. So I'm gonna put this little tape thing down first. So we want to grab our foam tape now, and we're gonna be putting it right there basically. So we gotta remove both sides here. I'm gonna put this right on the square, my little foam tape. This part we're gonna stick the battery on, but don't do that quite yet. I'm gonna remove the other side. There we go. Got it right there. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to have the negative side on the bottom right here, as we're going to put our battery on top of it, and we need the negative touching negative side of the battery. So I'm going to put this tape on first, and then the battery, and then the positive tape, kind of making a sandwich here is what I'm doing. Okay. So, and you got to make sure that this does not touch the positive tape. It's just the battery that's separating the two pieces of tape. So I'm just gonna go about halfway here, just to be safe on not causing no connections here. So I'm gonna go about there. And got that. Now move the tape apart again, so I can get it. There we go. Yeah. Make sure it's close contact with the previous piece. Hold it over. There we go. Okay. Got negative side attached. Now I take my battery and I put it right on top, like that, making sure it's contact right there. I got an extra question. Is there a supply list? Yes, there is a supply list in the tech kit. The take and make itself. Also tomorrow we're releasing a one-sheet instructions for it, which also has a supply list. It's passport. The passport is just a schematic. You can technically do this without the passport, but I want to make my rocket cool. But it's up to you. You could try, make a draw rocket maybe with a piece of paper and stick, the LED through. But yeah, one passport, nylon conductive tape, battery, LED, phone tape. There you go. Okay, last part here. Okay, so I just need to connect the positive. So I'm gonna go from here to here. I go like this. Before I even put the tape down, I can just slap the other side on there, and you can see that it works. So before putting the last piece of tape on, I would check if your LED works. When you put the gray tape down on top of the positive side, touching the other, if not working, you might have to redo some of the tape here. What do we do with the foam tape? So the foam tape is right underneath the battery here. It's this part right here. So this silver tape goes on top of the foam tape right here, and then the battery on top of it. So tape, well, it's first foam tape, then the nylon tape on top, and the battery on top of that. Okay, now we're doing the last part here, this here to here. I'm just gonna go over a little bit. There we go. I cut it a little bit longer, but that's just to be safe. Now, the last piece to remove the back on. I can do it. Oh, come on. I can do it. I can do it. Oh, nope, I'm ripping the tape. Not the tape, but the backing on it. It's doing the tape thing on books. No, it's doing the tape thing on books. I'm gonna try the other side. Might do the other piece I have, because I'm struggling with this one. There we go, got it. There we go, okay. And connecting to the positive side over here. Making sure it's good contact. Down, line up, and there we go. You can see it's like lighting up from the back side. Yeah, I got a square here all the way across. The turnaround, we got a blinking LED. It's so cool. I can just go rocket into space. Yeah. There we go. We made our passport. I'm just going to open this up a little bit more right here so you can see what's going on. But we made our light up passport. Yeah, I can just have it around, you know, to collect some stuff. And I still need to make a digital passport, you know, digital picture of me right here and fill out these other activities. There we go. So I'm going to open this up for a little bit just in case someone needs to see it. I'm going to bring it up over here, change the focus. There we go. And bring the brightness down. There we go. Okay. So you can see that we get a negative leg here. It's sticking out a little bit. With my nylon conductive tape all the way here. Notice it's on the underside right here of the battery. Underside right there. It's not touching the positive right here. There's the LED, not the LED, the battery, the positive side on here, negative on there. There's a foam tape right here and conductive tape going to the positive leg right here. And it's light up. The astronauts are having a party. They are. They're having tons of fun in here. And they're like, let's go to do space and grab more take and makes. Yeah, there we go. If you have any questions, let me know on this little project. Otherwise, after you do this right here, you can totally go back over to Beanstack and get a Lego project too, Lego prize. And it's not just penguins, there's other animals like a unicorn and a parrot, walrus. I think there's a turtle, there's quite a few. And then you can also pick up some stickers. And we are teaching code, design, and engineering making throughout the summer. So I'm gonna go share my screen here real quick. Share screen. I'm gonna go to Do Space and go to their calendar. So if you're trying to find more activities to do for the summer, we are fully open again. And you can, we have all these classes and you can learn some new stuff in Do Space or just find a new interest and have fun. So here is our calendar here at dospace.org/calendar. We got, let's see, Design It for Kids on Monday, 5 p.m., make a platformer game. And we got Coding in Microbit and then a Cardboard Automata. It's like a cardboard mechanism that can bend and move stuff. And yeah, on like every other Thursday, there is a drop-in where you can, 3D print with pens and draw things out and all that stuff. Yeah, that is it for today. Thank you very much for joining our kickoff. Definitely come visit Do Space. This is basically our last online project outside of the hybrid tech classes that we're doing for adults. But yeah, this is the last set, and thank goodness we're on the other side of this pandemic, still around, but we're so close to the end. Thank you very much, and have a fun-filled STEM day. Yep, bye-bye. Bye-bye.